While many winter fishers focus on the rivers, the Metolius, Middle Deschutes, and the Fall River this time of year, I always make time to fish in Prineville Reservoir.
It's not for everybody, but it's fun and it is productive at times. What I'm discovering is less fish, but on average larger, so better quality size fish.
From spring until late in the year, this 15-mile-long reservoir bustles with boaters, picnickers, swimmers, and explorers of all stripes. But in winter, it's as quiet as a church.
We use two techniques. I do a little fly fishing with a balanced leech, and I use a spinning rod with power bait. With a 2-rod license, you can fish them both at the same time. And so we'll set up and put the power bait in first, and then get that going, and then I'll put the fly rod together and start casting with that balanced leech.
There is no need to hit the water early when winter fishing. Many days, the fish don't bite until the middle of the day, noon or 1 p.m., when the sun is at its zenith, the opposite of summer, when sunrise and sunset are typically the best fishing times.
So here's some basic equipment for this kind of fishing. It's a rod support, stretch it out to its full size. And here's a challenge. This time of year, the ground is frozen, so we're not going to be able to put this in the beach anywhere. You actually have to go down here and put it in the water below the water level where the sand is still soft and drive it in a little farther. That's to support the rod that will hold the power bait.
Powder House Cove on the lower end of Prineville Reservoir, when it isn't frozen over, is one of the better winter fishing spots I've found. Just walk along the shoreline and cast out 20 or 30 feet into water that's maybe 5 or 6 feet deep.
So this is essentially a variation of power bait. It's called Gulp, and for some reason it works very well in the really cold weather. So this is what we've been catching fish with lately. Just get a bait ball, squeeze it on the hook, and it's just enough to make it float up off. It's a floating bait, it'll float up off the bottom. So I'm just going to do a little sidearm cast straight out here. It doesn't have to go very far. I just throw out about 20 feet, maybe. Very lightweight. It's pretty shallow out there. I'd be surprised if it's more than 6 or 7 feet deep. And now I'm going to prop up the rod on that rod strut. Get a little tension. The fish will find that. It smells good to them.
And what often happens is fish swallow the bait and swim away, pulling the rod tip down, and sometimes pulling the whole rod into the water. So pay attention.
The other technique, as I mentioned, is fly fishing, and lately all I've been using is what they call a balanced leech. And it's a very simple fly. It's also balanced when it hangs in the water. If there are leeches swimming around, they're swimming in a horizontal angle, so that's why this fly is attractive to the fish. You can see how it looks in the water. It just sort of hangs there, and we just twitch it once in a while. And just the slightest twitch, and look at what those hackles do. They just dance. And again, just like the power bait rod, you really don't have to cast very far to be in the zone. The fly is maybe 3 or 4 feet under the strike indicator, and it just takes its sweet time slowly falling to the full extension of that 4-foot leader.
If the temperatures are cold enough, ice may develop in your line guides, making it difficult to cast and retrieve. Just break the ice off with your fingers and keep casting. I'll be honest, catching is sporadic in the winter. Over 4 fishing trips with my brother-in-law, we caught 5 fish one day, 9 the next day, none the third day, and 1 the fourth. Do everyone a favor as you're walking back to your car at the end of the day. Pick up some trash. If everyone spent a few minutes picking up, the lakeshore would be clean in no time. From Prineville Reservoir, I'm Brooks Snavely for The Great Outdoors.